They say people only post what they want you to see. I still remember the last photo my best friend ever uploaded. She was smiling. Soft, natural. A hand resting gently on her pregnant belly. Her husband, Mark, was beside her, kissing her cheek. It looked like a moment of joy. Until I zoomed in. Her nails were chipped. The whites of her eyes were red. And there was a slight bruise on her wrist. That photo was posted 4 days before she vanished. And I haven't seen her since. Her name was Claire. 30 years old. Newly married. Expecting her first child. To the outside world, she had it all. A successful husband. A custom-built home just outside of Austin. Weekend brunches. Matching outfits for the baby shower. We'd been best friends since college. But something changed after the wedding. She started replying less. Canceling last minute. And when she did respond, it wasn't her. Her messages were short. Formal. No emojis. No inside jokes. No, love you. The last time we spoke, I asked if everything was okay. She typed. I'm fine. Don't worry. But then she deleted it. And sent just. Busy. Talk later. She never did. A week after Claire disappeared, I got an envelope. No return address. Just my name, printed, not handwritten. Inside was a paperback. One of my books. A detective novel I'd published 2 years ago, about a woman who slowly realizes she's being watched inside her own home. I almost laughed. Thought it was a strange prank. Until I saw the notes. Red ink. Claire's handwriting. She had underlined a single scene, where the husband installs hidden cameras and tells his wife it's for her safety. In the margin, she'd written. This isn't fiction anymore. Mark Whitmore. 38. Tech entrepreneur. Clean record. $1 million smile. The kind of man who donates to universities and speaks at leadership seminars. I'd met him twice. He was charming. Polite. Just the right amount of interested in what I did, but never too much. Claire once joked, he could sell fire to the sun. At the time, I thought it was a compliment. Now? I'm not so sure. I looked through every photo they'd posted online over the past year. There was something off. In group shots, Claire always stood slightly behind him. In solo ones, she never took selfies. And in the few videos she appeared in, she never spoke. Just smiled. I thought about that line again. This isn't fiction anymore. So I started doing what I do best. Following a story nobody wanted to read. I requested the police report. Disappearance logged. Voluntary absence suspected. Case closed within 10 days. 10. For a pregnant woman. No mention of a wellness check. No search of the home. No interviews with neighbors. Just a signed statement from Mark. Claire left on her own. She needed space. That's all they had. I called the officer who handled the case. I asked if they'd checked her phone records. He hesitated. Said they weren't authorized. I asked if they looked into surveillance footage from the nearby highway. Another pause. No sign of foul play, he said. No reason to dig. But there was a reason. Claire's prenatal vitamins were still on the kitchen counter. Her purse was in the bedroom. And her car? Still in the garage. Claire wasn't just my best friend. She was also my first reader. We shared everything, drafts, outlines, stray thoughts we'd never publish. And like any writer, she used Google Docs as a diary. I still had access to a shared folder we made in college. I hadn't opened it in years. But when I finally did, there it was. A document. Untitled. Last edited 3 days before she vanished. Just a few lines. He always checks on me when I sleep. Says I look peaceful. I tried to call my mom today. My contacts were gone. If anything happens to me, please look deeper. My hands were shaking. Not because of what she wrote, but because I'd read words like these before. In cases I'd researched. In books I'd written. But this time, it wasn't fiction. This time, it was Claire. I knew it was risky. But I had to go to the house. Mark was speaking at a tech conference in Dallas. I checked the schedule. That gave me 4 hours. I still had the garage code. Claire gave it to me before the wedding. The alarm didn't go off. The house was cold. Silent. Spotless. Too spotless. There were no signs of a life lived, no scattered mail, no dirty dishes, no shoes at the door. But upstairs, in the guest room closet, behind a stack of old linens, I found a flash drive. Unlabeled. Plugged it into my laptop the second I got home. Dozens of folders. Most were nothing. Receipts. Bank files. But one folder stood out. Observation. Inside, hours of footage. Hidden cameras. Living room. Kitchen. Bedroom. All dated. All organized. Claire, reading in silence. Seeming distant. Once, she whispered, I barely recognized myself. And then. A clip dated 2 days before she disappeared. A voice, likely Mark's, said. You're overthinking again. Everything's fine. My throat closed. I didn't just have suspicion anymore. I had evidence. I made 3 copies of the flash drive. 1 I kept. 2 I handed in, 1 to the local police, 1 to the State Bureau. I expected questions. An investigation. But instead, I got a voicemail. Thanks for your submission. We'll attach it to the original case file. That's it. No follow-up. No knock at my door. It's been a week. I emailed the officer in charge. No response. I called 3 times. Straight to voicemail. And I know why. Because Mark donates to their department. Because his brother sits on the board of a university. Because stories like this don't end in headlines. They end in silence. But I'm not a detective. I'm a writer. And stories? I don't let them die that easily. I didn't go to the media. Not yet. Instead, I did the only thing I knew how to do. I started writing. A story about a woman who disappears. About a husband who's adored in public but feared in private. About a friend who decides that silence is no longer safety. I changed the names. I changed the city. But I kept the truth. Word for word. I published it anonymously. Within 72 hours, the story went viral. Readers shared it. Commented things like, I know someone like this. This happened to my sister. This doesn't feel like fiction. And then, a strange message arrived. No name. Just, interesting story. That was 3 days ago. Last night, I thought I heard a knock. But maybe it was just the wind. This morning, I found an envelope on my porch. Inside. A printed photo. Claire. Standing by the window. In her old sweater. Looking directly at the camera. And smiling. They say the worst stories are the ones that end in silence. But this one's not over. Not yet.